Welcome to Game Soup Classic Analysis. We're playing Genesis games now. This is Joe.
This is Ed.
And this game is called Musha. It has a really long title, so we just call it Musha for short.
I think we'll see that title coming up here in a second.
Yeah, metallic uniframe super hybrid armor. Of course, you're going to need to memorize that. It's going to be important later on in your life.
Of course.
So this is a shmup game. This episode is about shmups, which stands for shoot 'em ups. And this game has a decent story for a shmup game. It has sort of you can see that it has an intro that sort of tells what's going on in the game.
Looks pretty nice for a Genesis game.
Yeah, the graphics are pretty awesome.
For 1990?
Yeah, this game was far ahead of its time as far as gameplay and graphics go. At least as far as home system games go, as far as console games go.
Shut up, Greg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we learned that he's kind of a jerk towards Greg. They got a little grudge going on here.
Wow, this shmup really has an interesting story. Like, more story than probably most shmups have, right?
Yeah.
Or am I wrong about that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time previous to this, it would be told in the story or on like a side card on the arcade machine. And this game was made in 1990 by a company that went on to make a lot of great shmups in the future. And this was one of their earlier ones. And it's like I said, it's way ahead of its time as far as I would consider it a predecessor maybe to the bullet hell genre. I don't know if it's quite into the hell genre for a number of bullets, but the later on levels especially, there gets to be a lot of bullets on screen, and it's a very challenging game, like most shmup games are. Okay, you can hit start.
Okay.
Because now we're on to the demo.
So that was the story, just a little bit of introduction there. That looked really nice, though. Let's see here. We want... I guess we'll just start it up.
So you can see there's some more storytelling going on here. The rest of your crew gets knocked out.
Oh, no. No!
As the game starts, and you're the only one left, so you're kind of the badass single ship that has to do everything. So you've got to shoot this little pod thing here and get these kanji symbols. That's the symbol for power, as you mentioned.
I mentioned that in the last episode that we didn't air.
Yeah. I just wanted to give you credit for knowing that was the symbol for power.
You knew it too.
I knew it too, yeah.
Yeah. So that tank just drove off. That's really cool. It leaves tread marks on the ground and everything.
Okay, so you want to pick up these power-ups up here.
Okay, so...
And this game has one of the buttons has your normal shot, which you can demonstrate that, and then one of the buttons does your laser, and then you press both together, and there's no penalty for using both at the same time. So for most of this game, you're pressing two buttons at the same time, which...
You're just holding down two buttons the whole time.
Yeah, which is a little bit awkward, but it's not too bad.
Oh, that's cool.
If you switch, you're gonna have the same power level as your previous gun, but you don't add to the power of it. So generally, it pays to stick with one power up, but we're just gonna show what all the power ups do. So the one you just had was the rockets, which is a spread shot as well as an explosive shot. So when it hits something, it explodes and damages everything around it, as well as spreads out and shoots. The one you have now is a defensive type of shot, which destroys missiles like that. So get the laser though. You should probably stick with the laser. The laser is the most powerful.
Yeah, this is the most fun to play with so far.
And when you get hit, you lose power.
Did I just die twice?
Yeah, you got hit. You lost power to your secondary shot.
Which is what you were just saying.
And then you died.
And then I died. Fantastic.
If you're powered up, you can get hit more than once.
Right. So that's sort of like a barrier. You get hit once for free.
So this game's a little bit nicer than some shmups in the way that you can get hit more than once, but also there's a lot of bullets and there's a lot of danger in the game.
Yeah. At least they flash. They're really easy to see.
Right, yeah, that's another thing about the game. The bullets are very easy to see. They have a white center, and they flash. So everything you want to dodge is pretty much going to have a white center. So it's going to stand out from the background, and most of the stuff in the background is a little bit darker in value.
It's pretty smart use of color.
Right. And the characters and enemies are pretty brightly colored, so you can see what's going on. The game is clear to see what's happening.
So it looks like my arm level is 0. What does that mean? Does that mean I have no power-ups?
Right. Yeah, because you keep changing.
Oh.
If you pick up right now, you have the red power-up. So if you pick up another red one, you'll go to level 1.
I see.
So if you pick up a blue one, you'll have a level 0 shield type of attack.
Oh, I don't want that. I want lasers. Give me lasers.
Yeah, if you pick up a green, you'll have a level 0 lasers. So
Level-
if you pick up multiple greens is probably what you want to go with. And if I remember right, level 4 is the highest level that you can get.
So what are those little capsules for then? If not,
That's for your main power, your main weapon, just the blue bullets. So you want to get this green right here.
Right. Lasers.
Probably.
Oh no. That was
You
close.
took a hit.
I
but
did.
You didn't lose your laser.
Cool. These graphics are really detailed. Quite nice.
Yeah, the graphics are big. The characters in
Yeah.
this game are big. Your hitbox is actually smaller than your character, which is pretty standard for shmups.
But modern shmups, the character the character model is so much smaller than this.
Generally, yeah, and the hitbox is even smaller
Wow.
in most modern games. So you probably don't want to pick up that blue one.
Nah. We don't need shields. We just want lasers. So we're like a giant robot then.
Right.
Look at those little legs.
Yeah, that's always been kind of funny.
That
funny
is-
to me that they go under it. They go under it. You want to get that laser?
Oh,
You missed the
I missed
laser.
it. I was too busy shooting at this this pagoda tank.
And there's also at the top, you'll see how it says form. If
Yeah.
you press that button, it'll switch your form for your sidearms. Those little pellet looking guys you have on the side of you.
I just died.
So if you press the Y button on that controller,
Oh,
it'll
yeah,
switch.
yeah.
So now you got a 3-way shot. Now they're shooting
Backward
backwards, which is
shot.
pretty worthless. And then you got reverse, which shoots in the opposite direction that you're moving, which is probably the most useful, the most generally useful, because you can kind of aim it where you want to go.
This is really tense. There's a lot of bullets.
Yeah.
I don't know how you play these games. This is hard. I'm really bad at this. All right. There we go.
Yeah, like I said before, this is kind of a predecessor to the bullet hell genre. Maybe it might be considered a bullet hell game. I don't know. I'm not the authority on it. I don't think anyone really particularly is the authority on what constitutes a bullet hell game or a normal old style shmup game. But this game, in my opinion, bridged the gap and was far ahead of its time as far as mechanics go and just polishing the genre. So now we see a callback to... Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Okay. We see a callback to the tank that got away earlier. And we see that we blew off the bottom guns off of it before, so we're sure this is the exact same tank. And it's, what did you call it before? Pagoda?
Pagoda tank.
Pagoda tank,
Isn't
yeah.
it? Oh.
The kind of building that it is. And it's on treads. So it's a really neat kind of design. And it has a weak point at the top, the skull, once it lands or once it stops moving. So that's
Whoa.
another trope for shmup games. They'll have like a small weak point that you have to shoot.
Some very simple patterns here, I guess. Is it gonna get harder? I'm afraid. I'm afraid. No, we're good.
Nah,
We
you'll
got
be
this.
fine.
We got this. All right, this is bullet dodging that I can do. There we go.
So there you go. That's Musha.
Oh, that was really cool. I
So it
like
has
this.
some really cool mechanics.
Yeah.
It's got primary and secondary weapons. It's got your sidearm things. It has many different ways that you can have those move around your ship.
A lot of customization for a shooter.
Right.
Destroy the power chamber.
So there's a lot of strategy to it, a lot of thinking on your feet, which
Yeah.
is, I guess, pretty standard for the shmup genre, but this game just does it very well and has a lot of unique mechanics. So it's a really fun game.
Cool.
The best on the Genesis. The best shmup game on the Genesis,
That's high praise.
in my opinion.
All right. Well, why don't we go on to our next game here?
And that game is Biohazard Battle for the Sega Genesis.
Of course. Biohazard Battle. Was this made by Sega?
I guess so. I think so. I think it was made by somebody at Sega, one of their teams. So this game has 4 different characters you can pick from. The way the power-up system works in the game, there's 4 different colors. Each color has 2 different modes for it. Each character has a different mode for each one, and each character has a different combination of modes for each color.
What?
Does that make any sense?
That's very confusing. All right. Well, I guess we'll see it in action here, won't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you won't actually know the difference between because you're only playing one character, but
Right.
the yellow power-up will give a different power-up for Mosquito than it will for, say, the Stingray.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
But
Okay.
but there's only 2 of each color, 2 of each power-up for each color, so some of them overlap.
Okay.
So
I see.
basically, there's 4 different combinations of colors. So this guy, when you get the red power-up, you get the rings.
Right.
So it's a really unique and somewhat complex
Yeah.
power-up system as far as the characters go. But once you understand it, it's manageable and unique, and you'll find your favorite character because you'll figure out which weapons you like best. Like, for instance, I like the yellow a lot with some of the characters. We can see what kind of... Let's see what he gets with the yellow. He gets the straight laser, which actually I don't like.
Oh.
There's other characters just get a machine gun that fires like a constant spray of bullets in any direction that you choose. So you'll notice that you have a little sidearm guy in this game, which is similar to Musha, and you can move him around and aim him in the opposite direction that you're moving. But with this specific power-up, it only shoots straight. So if you pick up another weapon, we'll be able to see exactly how that works.
Oops, I died.
Oh, you got hit.
See if I can get that blue one there.
So the blue one, you've got the bubble gun now. The bubble gun sort of seeks towards the enemy, so it's sort of homing, but not really.
Yeah.
It kind of, if it gets close to an enemy, it'll kind of seek towards them, and it's very powerful, but very slow.
Yeah. I was gonna say it doesn't look very powerful, but it must be.
There's also a charge shot in this game, so you'll see that charge shot. That's something also that differs for each character. The charge shot's a little bit different, just the pattern of bullets that you fire. So right now,
they're fast.
If you get multiples of the same weapon, it upgrades it.
Which I just got a second blue.
Right. So you have 2 blues. It's not as visible as with other weapons with the bubble gun.
Right. What's that?
That thing kind of tracks you.
Oh my. All right. Oh, and then when you die, you lose 1 upgrade of your weapon?
I think so, yeah. I think that's how it works.
Okay.
And it works similar to Musha, that if you get a different colored weapon, you'll get a weapon of the same level, but a different weapon. So now you're switching over to the lowest level yellow because you had the lowest level bubble gun, now you have the lowest level laser.
Okay. At least control-wise, it's a little bit simpler.
Yeah, that thing will kill you.
Yeah, it's a little bit simpler than Musha. Do we start over from the very beginning here?
Start from the first, from the level you were on. So we weren't that far.
So we'll try a different character here, though.
So each character,
we'll try this one. Yeah.
The greens are always the same, actually, for each character. They're just a straight normal bullets, and you just shoot more bullets when you get more power-ups. This one you've got a tracking laser.
This is really nice.
And with other characters you'll get rings, which we saw earlier on the other guy. So you see how it's kind of good that you died now that because we can see how a different character works, which is kind of the meat of the design of this game is how the different characters interact and how different characters are good for different levels. So you kind of want to pick a character that you think is going to be balanced for the level or that's going to be balanced for the whole game overall if you're able to beat the game on 1 credit.
That's a really cool concept. Because, you know, the other character, when he had red, it was just those rings, you know, which aren't seeking at all and have a completely different
they bounce
use.
off walls. So if you're in a level that's going to be, like here it would be pretty decent because you can bounce it off the ceiling and in the bottom here, so you're going to hit the enemies a lot with the rings.
Right.
But when you get into a more open area, the rings aren't quite as good.
How do I not die here? Man, this is tough. It's really fast-paced, too.
Yeah, the background scrolls very fast, which is a way that Shmup games give the illusion of movement.
Right.
Shmup games, actually, you don't move.
Yeah,
you're staying on the same screen. The enemies are the thing that are moving towards you, or moving on the screen. The enemies and your bullets, but actually, the action is really staying still. The only thing that the background is just an illusion.
Oh, they just came out of nowhere. All right.
So that's Biohazard Battle.
It's really nice. I like it. It controls really well. Feels good. Interesting power-up system.
Let's try the next one.
In AD 2101. This is familiar. War was beginning. You've seen this intro, whether you know it or not. You've seen it on the internet. There it is. Famous line. We get signal. What? These graphics aren't as nice as Musha's, I gotta say.
Not at all.
No. Main screen turn on.
So this game is famous.
Flashing lights. I gotta say
this game is famous for its intro.
That bass
and
line.
its bad translation.
Yeah. All your bass are belong to us. Perfect.
That's the famous line right there.
You have no chance, make your time. Is that what he says?
Yeah.
What you say? You have no chance to survive, make your time. That's great. Ha ha ha. It's cool to actually see this, you know, from the actual game.
It's much more famous for this than for the gameplay.
Yeah.
I think most people probably don't even know that it's a shmup.
take off every zig?
Yep.
What does that mean?
I don't know. No one knows. No one's ever figured it out. It's
No.
either a terrible translation or a very cryptic and deep message. I'm gonna go with the first one.
Yeah. Alright. Move zig. Maybe that's the name of the ship.
Maybe. It might be the name of the ship.
For great justice. Alright. Why don't we give it a shot and get into the game? Oh my god, flashing lights. Why don't we get into the gameplay here? Toaplan.
It's by the same company that made Musha. I just realized that. Yep.
It is? I thought that was Seismic.
So maybe the game's actually good. I don't have a whole lot of experience with the game. I've played it, but it was a very long time ago, and I didn't play it very extensively. I never owned it.
It's got a cool logo. I guess.
Let's give it a shot. Let's see. We actually don't know any. The previous two games.
Nate told.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew a lot about,
Sure.
and Ed played them, so I was able to explain how the systems work. This one we're kind of going into blind. I don't really remember how this game works.
This game seems to have a more in-depth story than Musha.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I'm surprised that the graphics aren't as good as Musha. This looks as good as Musha, but the intro wasn't quite as good.
No. This takes more of that Ninja Gaiden route of cutscenes. Kind of seems like the widescreen, very small. Kind of the art
So we're going
style's
so
different
fast
too.
that the ship looks like it's burning up.
All right. Oh man. Okay, so that is.
So this is a horizontally scrolling shooter.
Wait.
Oh, it's this.
That's
I
cool.
vaguely remember this. Yeah, you've got
So you can suck things up with this. This is
to
a
fire them
yeah.
out. Okay, that's kind of the
Oh,
gimmick
my
of the
gosh.
game, I think.
Okay. Oh, and you can do both of these things at the same time. Okay, so that actually seems pretty useful. And
That's a pretty neat
there's a
mechanic.
Blue, and that's it. Okay, so that's a different attack here. Let's see.
I don't remember too many other games that did that. There was one game I played in Japan that was an arcade game that had a similar mechanic where you could grab it.
This is
I
pretty
think
cool.
it was Moochie Pork or something.
Moochie
like
Pork!
that. I think that's what it was called.
How was that a game? Oh. What?
Okay, so this is one of those old style games where if you die, you have to start the entire level over.
Perfect. Look how slowly it scrolls too.
Oh, maybe it's not. Is this the whole level? Was this the very beginning?
It wasn't. Weren't there some guys here before? Yeah, this is not the beginning.
So okay, there's checkpoints
yeah,
at least.
which
But
is nice.
those kind of games, that might be why I never got too into this game, because I like to be able to practice the game like I like to be able to play through the whole game, at least the first time I play it. And I prefer to practice like a whole level at a time at least. And when you have to start the level over every time you die, it looks like the collision's kind of bad in this too. Like, did you just die because one of your side guys died?
No, I think that was just me. I'm just really bad at
Okay.
shmups.
I wasn't paying full attention to where the bullets were.
But that first time I died, when when this corridor narrows up here, was a little confusing.
It's very slow. The pacing is very slow compared to Musha or Biohazard Battle.
And
Those
Run
games are
Easy.
both very fast-paced and very fun. And this is much slower.
Yeah.
So this is odd because Musha came out before this game. Musha was 1990 and this is 91, and they're the same company. So maybe it was a different team. I'm not really sure.
It's a very different pace.
If you know more about shmups than I do, put a comment below.
So this was interesting because I thought, oh no, I'm gonna have to die here, but these guys automatically collapse when you go into a tight corridor.
So I don't think you die when those get hit, thankfully.
No. That's what I was thinking at first, though.
So it looks like it has a similar type of power-up system. Maybe you can upgrade these if you get more of the same color.
Maybe. But you know what really is confusing me here is that there's 3 ships, but apparently, you're the one in the middle.
Right, yeah, you're the one in the middle, so you wanna only be dodging with that one.
But the problem is, there's bullets coming at you and coming near all 3 ships. I keep losing track of which one I'm actually supposed to be playing as, Like, I keep forgetting that I'm the one in the middle. I guess those ones on the outside don't actually take damage? Maybe they do?
No, I don't.
It's hard to tell.
Think so.
But yeah, it's hard to keep your eye on the center ship because there's 3 ships moving vertically. A little confusing to me. But maybe that's just me. I'm not very used to playing games like these.
Yeah, Ed's been the one playing the games. We tried with me playing because I have more experience with these games, but we were having trouble. I was having trouble doing the commentary. So we could have either done it after, we could have done it in post, or we could have just had Ed play them. And we're 2 guys, so we figured we'd just have Ed play them.
Yeah. Yeah, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, do you see what I'm saying here with the hitbox? I keep not...
Yeah, the hitbox seems pretty large in this game, which is kind of at least in modern games, is kind of a no-no for shmups. If you're developing a new shmup, you want to have the hitbox be as forgiving as possible so that you can make the rest of the game really difficult.
Yeah, yeah. I think what would have helped here was making these side ships a lot smaller, like making the sprite a lot smaller, just because it's confusing visually. Because I'm having trouble distinguishing here where to dodge, because I keep looking at these 3 ships.
I think the major advantage that this has over Musha is that it's horizontally scrolling, and that having a horizontal orientation for a shmup game was more advantageous in the past because you were locked into a horizontal monitor or screen
Right.
that the player will be playing on, whereas a lot of modern shmups come from an arcade machine, and the arcade machines actually have a dedicated vertical screen, and they'll be letterboxed vertically,
Right.
so that you're playing in a vertical arena or vertical playing field. So the reason that that's beneficial for it to be longer and horizontal. I'm sorry. Let me try and rephrase that. The reason why it's beneficial is that you can see more bullets coming at you. You can see more of the action. So you can see, like in Musha, it was vertically scrolling, but it was very horizontal. So seeing bullets coming from the top of the screen, you have less time to react.
Right.
So they would have to compensate for that by making the bullets slower and making the enemies come at you a little bit slower.
Yeah, it feels really sluggish.
But here the game is slow anyway.
Yeah.
It's just very, very slow.
Okay. So I like that the vacuum mechanic. I wonder if that has like a special name. I'm just gonna call it the vacuum. That's really cool though. Apparently you can pick up most ships here. Not that one. But that's cool. That kind of reminds me of is it Stasis from Dead Space? Stasis, or
I'm not sure.
There was one other system that was very similar to that. You could pick up things and throw them at other things. I'm sure that's a common thing in many games, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. What is that?
So here they're warning you that there's a big boss coming up, and they give
Yeah.
you a pretty huge warning up front.
Yeah.
Give you a long time.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of downtime, which was nice, and it's a nice way to signal to the player that they're about to die, because although he's not too challenging, I guess, so far. Pretty simple.
So I guess that's
Zero wing, yeah.
I guess that's enough to get the idea of Zero Wing.
It's okay. It doesn't have the heart-pounding insanity that's Musha. You know?
Yeah, or Biohazard Battle.
Or Biohazard Battle, yeah. It's fine. No gripes. I like the weapon system. It does a lot of it does similar things, with the tracking green bullets and the lasers and whatnot. It's okay.
So we can see why the game wasn't famous for its gameplay. It's pretty standard. It didn't really break any huge new ground. I guess with the vacuum system is kind of neat, but
I wonder if that's been done in any other game. It's a little bit cumbersome because it means you have to approach ships.
Right, you have to get
very close to them.
So you have to kind of know what ships are going to shoot at you and when, I think, to really make full use of it.
Yeah.
So this is a kind of game that, like a lot of old games, were gated by difficulty and you'd have to memorize.
And just touching that also kills you. Interesting. So that's it for our episode on Shmups. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed our analysis. Any final words, Joe?
No.
Zero wing.